How would you spend a one-time infusion of money, like a tax refund or a bonus at work? I'm James Derrick, president of Smedley Financial. Today, Amy Hansen will be sharing advice on how to be more intentional with our increase.
Welcome to the SFS Power Up Wealth podcast, where we provide impactful insight and expert opinions on timeless financial principles and timely investment topics, preparing you to make smarter decisions with your money.
Amy, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Amy Hansen is a licensed representative and paraplanner at Smedley Financial. Amy, if we have a windfall of money coming our way, or just did, we're in a pretty good situation.
That's great. Yeah, that's a good situation to be in.
Well, first, let's talk about tax refunds, because I heard you mention before we began that getting a big refund, even though that's like everybody's dream, that is not necessarily a good thing.
Right. If you get a tax refund, that means that you overspent on your taxes or overpaid. And that means that some tax planning could go into it to make it better, so you don't give the government a free loan. But if it's done and you already have that tax refund coming your way, then you do want to know how to spend it. So if it's too big of a refund, then maybe talk to your financial planner, your CPA, and say, I don't want to let the government take too much of my money that they have to refund so much back. If you get a small refund, that's probably right where you want to be.
This is your money. You want to receive interest on it.
Right.
And you certainly don't want to give the government an interest-free loan.
Right. Yes.
Until next April 15th.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just keep your money as long as you can and save it and earn interest on it for sure.
So we often hear this phrase, good, better, best. But we were talking ahead of time about bad, worse, and the worst.
Yeah, I think it's good to go through ways not to spend your tax refund. So one of the ways that is probably pretty common with a lot of people is just putting it in your checking account and being excited that you have some extra money to spend that month and not putting any intentional behavior behind it. So when you get a tax refund, and let's say it's $1,000 and you put that $1,000 in your checking account, what's going to happen is you're just going to spend that $1,000 on things that you normally spend money on, and it's going to be gone, and you're not going to see a real financial benefit from it. I think that's probably the worst way to do it, is to not think about it.
Taking your tax refund and putting it into the checking account is a lose-lose situation, because you either spend it or you leave it there and get very little interest on it.
Absolutely, yes. So yeah, I definitely think it's not the best way to spend money. I don't think it's going to get spent in a way that will be meaningful down the road at all. It'll just be forgotten about.
Next step might be savings.
Right. So then you're saying, okay, well, let's put it in the savings account. But honestly, with the savings account, you're going to earn maybe 1%. Same thing. It's just going to get lost in the mix. You're not going to use it intentionally, and it's not going to give you any great benefit at all.
Let's open up Pandora's box with inflation as well then.
Yes.
Because when we're talking about savings accounts, we ought to be thinking about inflation as well.
Right. So if you're going to put it in checking or savings, and inflation is, 3 to 4% like it has been lately, and you're earning nothing on it, then you are just losing money having it sit there. The other thing is, even if you put it in a CD that's earning 3 to 4% and inflation is 3 to 4%, you're barely breaking even. Your money's not going to work for you. And it's just going to sit there. So I would say CD is not a great idea. Checking and savings are even a worse idea.
Now, this is interesting because CDs are paying higher rates now, not as good as 2022 or 2023, but they're still paying higher rates than they've been paying most of my adult working career.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get over the fact that you're still losing money when you compare it to inflation and also taxes.
Right.
Because all that interest in a CD is taxed at ordinary income.
That's right. So if you make 4% on a CD, and all 4% is going to be ordinary income on your tax return for the next year. And then if you earn 4%, it all is it's all taxed, whatever rate you're going to pay at. And in addition to that, it's barely keeping up with inflation. So between the two, inflation and taxes, CDs are probably not the greatest place to put a windfall, like tax return, bonus, anything like that. It's not going to work for you as well as it would somewhere else.
Good. Well, let's talk about some of the better ideas.
Okay, so here are just a couple fun ways to spend your tax return. And there are a million ways, but if I was going to spend my tax return, this is what I would do with it. First, I would say, do you have any crazy high interest debt? Do you have a credit card? Do you have a high car loan payment? Do you have any other kinds of debt that's just charging you crazy interest. Can we take this money that you just got and just put it on it and just get rid of it, or at least pay it down a little bit? Help your future self out. It's always a good option.
If you have a balance on a credit card, it could be 20% or more.
20% or more, yeah.
So you got to start there.
You got to start there. That is a huge problem right now, is high balances on credit cards. And they're like huge rates. It's hurting everyone. It's never going to be a good thing to have a huge balance on a credit card that's just sitting there and eating away at your money. And so if you have the option to pay down your credit card, I would say that is a great way to spend your tax refund or bonus or any other windfall you might have.
Auto loans currently are also much higher than inflation. And so that would probably be the next place, as you mentioned, to go, because those rates are quite high.
Yes. Auto loan rates are super high. And I mean, it's kind of hard now to buy a car with cash because cars are so much. I feel like that was kind of an option a while back. People would say, save up for a car and buy it. But now cars are so expensive. Most people have car loans. If you can pay down those loans, just do it. Just get rid of them as quickly as you can.
Yeah, because that interest rate is probably higher than inflation as well.
Right. It's a higher rate than inflation, and it's hurting you both ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we talk about debt. Yeah. What's next on your list for good ways?
So another thing is, I feel like a lot of people want to have an emergency fund, and they're like, when things are great, I'll do it. And it kind of just gets pushed to the back burner. So this is a good time if you don't have crazy credit cards to pay off, take this money, put it in some type of earning account, money market, could be CD. I know I just said all these things against that, but everyone should have 3 to 5 months worth of expenses in an accessible account. So that's called your emergency rainy day fund. So if you spend $5,000 a month, then make sure you have between $15,000 and $25,000 somewhere accessible. That's called your rainy day fund. Start building that up. And that's a whole different topic that we could talk about. But if you do have a little bit of money coming in from your tax refund, that's a great way to maybe start it or add to it.
Yeah. My wife and I have often done 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So one third pay down debt, 1/3 add to savings, and 1/3 do something fun with it.
Oh, I love that. See, that's great. If you can balance it out, then do something fun with it. In fact, that was another thing I was going to say is invest in yourself. Maybe your family really needs a vacation. Maybe you really need to take a golf lesson that you've been wanting to for years. These things are great ways to spend your tax return as well. So take 1/3, like you said, and spend it on something great that you like. I like that a lot.
And then let's talk about giving to a cause.
So that's the last thing I mentioned. And there's obviously lots of other ways that I didn't mention here. But if you're never going to lose out by giving to a charity that you're passionate about. You're going to feel good. They're going to appreciate it. People who give more tend to have more money, oddly enough. So giving to a charity is a fantastic way to spend your tax return.
And finally, I think we cannot move on until we say something about investing.
Yes, of course. So if you get a tax return, you feel like you have checked these other boxes, then you need to put your money somewhere. We talked about how CDs are not maybe the best option because of taxes and inflation. Checking accounts, savings accounts, they're not going to be the best place for your money. So we like to put money in an investment account because it's going to make more. It's going to be, in something that will grow for you for the future. You're doing your future self a favor by putting money in the investment account because it will be more in the retirement than it is at this moment.
Yeah, there's just so much potential there.
Yes.
Thank you, Amy, so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Power Up Wealth podcast. Smedley Financial is located at 102 South, 200 East, Suite 100 in Salt Lake City, Utah, 84111. Call us today at 800-748-4788. You can also find us on the web at smedleyfinancial.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. The views expressed are Smedley Financial's and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities or services mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should only be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Securities offered through Osaic Wealth, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Smedley Financial Services, Inc. Osaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth.